Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video game analysis. So we made it. Here we are at the end of the year, and I would like to give my condolences to Satoru Iwata, and we're going to talk about him a little bit. Now, I'm probably going to say a lot of stuff we already heard on the internet by many people and wonderful tributes, but I just want to talk a little bit more about who he was and what he represented for Nintendo. Satoru Iwata started out by working for HAL Laboratories, who made Kirby and many other famous Nintendo games. They're still a second party to this day for Nintendo, and you know, it's amazing. Iwata rose to the top. He's shown that with hard work and dedication, you really can do this. You know, it's almost like Iwata is a mythical figure, you know, because like everything he represents is something you'd hear in stories, but he was a person. He was an actual person. He became president of HAL Laboratories. Then he came work for Nintendo as their president, the first president not linked to the Yamauchi family. And you know, it's an amazing accomplishment. There's so many accomplishments he made, and not because he wanted the power or because he wanted what's the word? He wanted to just be better than everybody else, but it was because he had a passion for what he did. He loved what he did. And you know, that's something everybody feels. That's something everybody recognizes, especially with Iwata's passing. I can tell so many stories we already heard on YouTube, but that's the basic idea of what they all mean, of why we are so proud to just say these stories of, you know, him saying that he's in his heart he's a gamer or something like that. It's because you can tell he loved what he did. He's making games since high school. He was in high school. He was fascinated by the idea of it. And he took that passion and he made it into something. And then all of a sudden he became the biggest figure in gaming. Even if people didn't really know it. There's so many people I knew who said, "Oh, I didn't know who he was, but I'm so sad to see him go." And it's because he had that mythical figure to him. It's because when people heard of him and heard of his accomplishments, they end up saying, "Wow, he was there for me my whole life." You know, it's like people my age and older on YouTube and anywhere are getting misty-eyed when you talk about him because, well, he was, you know. It's like, play any Nintendo game. You'll be surprised how many times you see him as an executive producer or working on decoding. I did not know that he made Balloon Fight. I love this game. It's my favorite NES game. I own like every console I can possibly buy it on because I love playing it. I even have it on the e-reader. I love this game, and you know, it's like to hear that Iwata. It's like you find out. It's like, oh my god, this guy was here in the background because he didn't boast and he didn't brag, and yeah, he didn't create anything. That's true. He did not create a new character for Nintendo or anything, but he helped in every way he can to help those characters grow. And there's a lot of appreciation for that. I find it amazing that Iwata went to the kind of depths to really shape his passion and give it to others for what he loved, you know? The gaming industry can be pretty fickle. Let's just be honest, you know? It's like, and not just with the industry, with the you know, the leaders industry, but the fans. Let's be honest, you know? Everyone argues, oh, my game's 1080p and yours is 980, oh my god, you know? But it was so nice to see in Iwata's passing that he was respected, and no matter what console people played, you know, it's like usually they make such a big deal of what PC must raise, you know, Xbox rule, you know, that kind of thing. It's like, I hate that stuff, but you know, at the end of the day, it was so nice to see people together, you know, making tributes and whatnot. And you know, there's so many other figures we're gonna hate seeing go. But, you know, I know they'll get the same respect. But Iwata was someone everyone respected. He was a very humble man. And, you know, it's weird. He was so young, and it was way too soon. But, you know, he's an important person to remember. You know, he's a big marker in history. And it's great that we see that. Like I said, you know, Iwata was always in the background, but he was someone who was humble. He was someone who was true to himself. When he became president, he didn't just say, "Okay, time to call the shots." He was nervous. He did all the work he can to. He read up on leadership. He read up on everything, and it shows. It's like despite what any critics would say, Iwata really shown his worth. He really shown that he wasn't there to make money. He wasn't there to make power. He was there because he believed in what he was doing. Even if it doesn't seem like the biggest deal in the world, it was to him, and it is to us, the gamers. And it's like that famous story that was so amazing, where he took a pay cut from his own so his own company can keep going, because he recognized his mistakes. He did. And there's so many examples I can say, but bottom line, not many people in charge like he is would take responsibility for things like that. He said, "I made a mistake. Things aren't going well for Nintendo right now. I'm going to take a pay cut because that's how it is." That's a lot of humility. That's a lot of pride. That's a leader I respect. I find that too many people who take leadership nowadays, and I'm not going to say any names, and especially for my own job, but there's too many leaders these days that really don't know what they're doing. They really don't have a sense of what leadership is. And that's sad to me, It's like they think it's just, okay, I have power, I'm going to use that, and, end of the day. And it's like, I don't know. I don't have many examples of this in my personal life, but I see it all the time with my friends and other people, where these people just like having the power. They like being able to tell people what to do. They like having things their way and no other way. And if something goes wrong, they like placing the blame on somebody else. They like to never take. You have to look, even if it's not your fault. If you're a leader, you got to take responsibility for what you did, and that's what Iwata did. And, it's like that's when he really earned my respect. Because I didn't, honestly, me neither. I didn't hear of Iwata until he was president of Nintendo, and all the accomplishments and all the ideas he brought to the table, I'm glad Nintendo's respecting, because that shows how much they respected him. The ideas he put in the direction he wanted Nintendo to face. I'm glad it's going to continue. Leadership is something I always greatly admired, and that's always something everybody's seen in Iwata. And again, you may have not respected all his decisions, and I was critical now and then, but every leader makes mistakes, and Iwata owned up to that. I loved Iwata's vision of Nintendo. I loved that it still had Nintendo's identity, but it also went to a way that everyone else wasn't doing. It didn't follow the curve. It didn't follow the maximize profit kind of thing. It followed the idea that we want to make great games for people. We want our product to make people happy. And in the end, that makes them happy. Money, right? It's how it works. It's how true leadership works in a business, how true leadership works in general. And leadership is very important for how our society and how all societies work. You need strong leadership. You need someone with a vision of how to carry things out and great people behind you. And that's what Iwata had. And that's what Iwata did. And again, I love that Nintendo wants to follow his dream. They want to keep following his direction. And we still don't know at the time of this recording what the president's going to be, but we know he's going to respect Iwata. And you know what? What would Iwata do? That's something I think Nintendo is going to probably say all the time. And you know what? Let's talk a little bit more about what he was as a leader during his presidency. Iwata, if you want one thing I took away from this entire analysis, it's Iwata is exactly what all leaders of industry should be, of all leaders should be. He's a perfect example of a leader, of someone who is in charge of something many people love. Because he was someone who wasn't afraid to do things differently than other CEOs would do, but more importantly, he was someone who loved what he was selling. There are too many CEOs who don't, or leaders or whatever, or presidents, whatever. There's so many of them who don't even know what they're selling when it comes to entertainment, like rock music or movies or superhero movies or video games, So they make decisions like, all right, well, just maximize profit, let's load this up with day one DLC and microtransactions. And Iwata wasn't that kind of man. And we all love that. We all Nintendo fans and all gaming fans alike appreciated that. They appreciate what he was trying to do and who he was. And I put up this footage here because I want to show that Iwata was also not afraid to be a part of his fan base. He wanted to show people that he was one of the gamers. You know, he loved showing himself and others around him that he's not afraid to get involved. He's not afraid to hold bananas up and make a fool of himself, because he wasn't. We were laughing with him. We weren't laughing at him because we saw his passion. We saw his love for what he was doing and what he was selling. He wanted his company to be successful, not just make profit, but to be successful. I wish many people had that same attitude. There's so many companies, so many people from so many different parts of the not only the gaming industry but all of business or the world as a whole. You need to follow this kind of example. They did something they loved, they stuck to it, they worked hard at it, and they continued to try to share this with many people. They used their imagination as a gift for others. So yeah, rest in peace, Satoru Iwata. My condolences. It's a great loss, and it hit me hard when I heard. I didn't want to believe it at first. I thought it was just some dumb rumor, and but you know, I didn't. Nobody wanted to believe it, and it's hard to deal with, but it's important to remember him. It's a great loss, but he's a good man. So that being said, thank you guys for watching. It's been another great year, and I don't have a little reference thing for what I'm going to do next year, you know, saying it but not saying it kind of thing I always do. I'm sorry for that, but we're going to talk about Donkey Kong, so I'm going to have to spell that out. We're going to start with Donkey Kong, and yeah, so thank you guys again. It's been great, and let's always remember Satoru Iwata. If there's anything I missed, if there's anything I got wrong, if there's anything you would like to add to the conversation, please do not hesitate to leave a comment. A like and a share will also help out. You know the drill. Thank you all so much for watching. I've been Billy, your video game analyzer. Have a good day, good night whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you next summer.